before the storm. It always starts with a sound. Not the blast of artillery or the scream of wounded men. It's quieter than that. More personal. For me, it was the tick of a wristwatch, the one my father gave me before I left for the Eastern Front. The sound used to calm me. Now it feels like a countdown. Winter 1942. Stalingrad. The war had already carved its initials into my bones by then. I was 24, a second lieutenant in the Red Army, drafted from a quiet town near Smolensk. I used to be a schoolteacher. A quiet life, with quiet dreams, lectures, love, maybe a child. But war makes ghosts of plans. It doesn't ask who you were before. It tells you who you'll become. They called me Ukadil, the teacher. Half out of respect, half mockery. Soldiers don't trust men who used to love poetry. I learned fast to hide that part of me. I still carried a book of Pushkin in my coat though. Close to my chest. Next to the bullets. My unit, the 137th Rifle Division, was stationed in the skeletal ruins just west of the Volga. Every morning was a new kind of silence. Not peace, no, nothing so kind. It was the silence that came before the shells fell. A silence that tasted like snow and metal. I remember Sergeant Mikhailov, a massive man with arms like tree trunks, standing at the edge of a crater, whispering to the wind, "They're watching us. They always watch before they come." We all had our rituals. Mine was checking my watch. 4 seconds forward. Always ahead. A superstition I couldn't explain. Then there was Sasha. Private Alexander Vetrov, 19, too young for war, but already carrying a scar across his cheek like a veteran. I don't know why I took to him. Maybe it was the way he smiled even when the mortars dropped too close. Maybe it was the way he called me comrade teacher and asked about books between bursts of gunfire. He reminded me of my younger brother. The one we buried in 39. One day, a supply runner brought news: a German sniper division had taken the high ground beyond the northern barricade. If they held it, they'd see straight into our munitions depot. Command wanted us to push them back by dawn. 5 men, said the captain, eyes bloodshot. Volunteers. It's suicide. But it has to be done. I should have kept my hand down. I should have remembered I wasn't a hero. But then Sasha stepped forward. And so did Mikhailov. And I heard myself saying, "Ill lead." We left at dusk. The city was a carcass of broken windows and ash. Every footstep echoed like betrayal. I could feel the sniper's scope like a breath on my skin. We crawled through sewer tunnels, across frostbitten alleyways, moving like shadows, like rats. And somewhere along the way, I realized something: I wasn't just fighting the Germans. I was fighting the silence. The part of me that wanted to forget who I was. The teacher. The brother. The man who once loved. Because if I forgot that, then I'd be like the others. Hollow. And I wasn't ready to become a ghost just yet. Through the smoke. The cold bit into us like a blade as we slithered beneath broken fences and shattered trams, heading north through what used to be a neighborhood. You could still see wallpaper peeling from blasted walls, flowers, cartoons, a child's bedroom charred black. War leaves fingerprints in places people used to dream. We were 5. Me. Sasha, too eager and too brave. Mikhailov, whose silence said more than most men's words. Petrov, a wiry scout with eyes like a wolf, who claimed to have killed 14 Germans with a trench knife. And Isaev, the radio man, nervous hands, stuttered prayers, and a satchel of cracked ribs from a previous shelling. Checkpoints past the old brewery, I whispered. Snipers are posted in the grain silos behind it. 5 against 20? Isaev asked. No, Petrov muttered. 5 against God. I didn't know if he meant the enemy or fate, but either way, he wasn't wrong. The mission wasn't to win. Just to disrupt. Blind them long enough for our artillery to reposition. We were the distraction. The disposable ones. But I didn't tell the others that. Sasha still had hope in his eyes. The streets narrowed. Smoke from a burning vehicle choked the alley. Through it, I saw something, a glint. I threw myself down. The shot hit Petrov in the neck. No warning. No scream. He just crumpled, blood pumping in quiet spurts as he reached for a blade he'd never get to use. Sasha tried to crawl to him. I held him back. Leave him. We move. But he's gone, I said. We move, now. Mikhailov dragged Isaev, who had frozen. My heart was pounding like a drum in my throat. I hated myself for leaving Petrov. But I hated dying more. We ducked into the brewery. The scent of yeast and rot still clung to the ruined vats. Rats scurried in the dark. Every window was broken, every floorboard a possible landmine. I paused by a wall painted with German graffiti, something about the Reich and victory. I spat on it. From there, we had to cross an open courtyard to reach the silo. No cover. A sniper's dream. Smoke? Mikhailov asked. I nodded. We had 2 grenades left. 1 smoke, 1 frag. Throw both, I said. We run hard. Isaev shook as he pulled the pins. The smoke hissed and bloomed like a dying ghost. The frag exploded, sharp, shattering. We bolted. Bullets cracked past my ears. One hit the brick near my head, spitting dust into my mouth. Sasha slipped, fell hard, but scrambled up, face bleeding. Mikhailov barreled forward like a bear, dragging Isaev by the pack. We made it. All 4 of us. Barely. The silo loomed above us. Quiet. Too quiet. Inside, it was pitch black. The dust tasted like metal. We climbed the narrow stairwell, me first, pistol drawn. That's when I saw him. A German. Young. Blonde. A boy, really. Maybe 18. He had a rifle in his lap and tears on his face. He looked as scared as we were. We stared at each other for what felt like a minute. A lifetime. Then Sasha stepped in behind me. The boy's eyes flicked, just for a second. That was all. I fired. Once. Twice. He collapsed, his body twisting awkwardly. The rifle clattered down the steps. Silence again. I felt Sasha's hand on my shoulder. I didn't turn. I couldn't. He would have shot, Sasha said gently. I nodded. But it didn't matter. The boy's face was still in my head. Shadows in the grain. The silo's silence was heavier than any gunfire. I remember the way the dust floated through the slits of moonlight, like ashes suspended in time. Every breath was a whisper. Every heartbeat, an echo. We'd taken the high ground. That was the plan. But the plan never mentioned what to do afterward. Isaev was coughing up blood. Cracked rib tore something, Mikhailov said, pressing a cloth to his side. He won't last the night. Sasha sat near the boy ID shot, eyes locked on the pale face already stiffening in the cold. I didn't speak. I just sat. Listening. Waiting for guilt to pass. It didn't. Then Mikhailov said it, we can't stay. He was right. We had no food, no medical supplies, no radio signal. And worse, we'd spotted movement from a nearby tower before we entered. Germans would come. It was only a matter of time. But then Sasha spoke. There's a basement, he said, voice distant. Behind the grain elevator. I saw a hatch. I looked at him. His cheek was crusted with dried blood, but his eyes were sharp again. Focused. Like they'd been before Petrov died. We opened the hatch and climbed down into darkness. It was a bunker. Makeshift. Probably used by German forward scouts. Rations, maps, a field radio, blessed fortune. But there was something else. Something none of us were ready for. A prisoner. He was tied to a chair in the far corner, mouth gagged, face swollen from beatings. His uniform was Soviet. A captain. One eye sealed shut. The other full of fire. Mikhailov cursed. Isaev, barely able to stand, reached for his canteen. Name? I asked, pulling the gag free. Captain Denisov. 45th Infantry. Captured 2 days ago. His voice was gravel, but clear. What the hell is he doing here? Sasha asked. Why keep him alive? That's when I saw it, the wall behind Denisov covered in sketches. Crude maps. Building layouts. Positions. He was forced to draw them. Interrogation, Mikhailov growled. They needed intel. No, Denisov whispered. There's more. We listened. What he said chilled us more than the winter outside. The Germans weren't just defending the high ground. They were planning a push, eastward. A flanking maneuver using underground sewer lines, marked on the map's head drawn. They'd strike at dawn. Hit our supply lines from behind. Command had no idea. If they move before we warn them. I trailed off. Sasha nodded. They'll tear through our boys like paper. Isaev tried to lift the radio, but it crackled with static. Jammed. No transmission possible. We have to go back, I said. Tonight. Through enemy lines? Mikhailov asked. With Isaev bleeding and you barely standing? I'll go alone if I have to. No, Sasha said quietly. We go together. All of us. Even Denisov. We patched Isaev as best we could, armed Denisov with the dead German sidearm, and prepared to move. Outside, the wind howled like a warning. We knew the Germans would be sweeping for us by now. As we emerged, I looked back into the silo. The boy's body was still there. Something in me wanted to bury him. Say a word. Anything. But we didn't have time. War doesn't wait for grief. We moved east, slipping through rubble and sewer lines, guided by maps Denisov had drawn. At one point, we heard German voices. Too close. We hid beneath a collapsed tram car. My hand found Sasha's. It was shaking. He looked at me and whispered, "We're not getting out of this, are we?" I lied. "We will." He didn't answer. A flare lit the sky above us, white and cold as bone. And in that light, I saw it, a German patrol, less than 50 meters ahead. Mikhailov pulled his knife. I raised my pistol. Sasha reached for his rifle. And Isaev. Isaev pulled something from his coat. A grenade. My breath caught. Isaev. I can't run anymore, he said. Tell command. Stop them. No. He smiled, weak but certain. Comrade teacher. This is my lesson. He pulled the pin, rolled out from beneath the tram, and ran. The explosion shattered the night. We didn't look back.